Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we will be looking at my custom Marvel Legends cable figure. So without further ado, we'll get right into it. Like we always do, we're going to go over the accessories first. So I'm just going to take the figure and set him off to the side, and we'll start looking at his weapons. The cool part about all the weapons, besides the knife, is that they're pretty much, besides the knife and the two smaller handguns, his larger guns are all customed. So, this is just the knife, pretty basic. It is from the Marvel Legends Nuke figure. I didn't need to do anything to this. I like the military green handle. It looks cool. Love the little serrated edges. It's standard. It's whatever. So, moving on to his shotgun, it is also the standard gun that comes with cable. It's been repainted. It's been sprayed a matte black and then highlighted with gunmetal. So there we go. You can really pick out all the nice little details in there. I like using gunmetal just to pick out the highlights. It adds some wear and tear to the gun, and also just brings out all the little sculpting things, because with black you can really lose a lot of that because it all looks the same. So some of it gets lost. So we have that gun. Coming here we have this revolver. I really like it. It looks like futuristic and still realistic, I guess, at the same time. This was a cast that I bought from a guy online. I don't believe he has an Instagram page, so I wish I could shout him out. But I've worked with him before, and he's really cool because he was able to mix a bag of different casted guns for me, and that was really, really helpful for building Cable's arsenal as well as some other figures. So I really appreciate that from him. So we just have this revolver. I believe it's from the Spawn figure, and I sprayed it black as well and also highlighted it with some gunmetal. So that's that. So now we get onto the fun part, the custom guns. So we have this first one here. We have this assault rifle, battle rifle. This I believe this is a cast as well from the same guy. And I believe that this was a Titanfall gun. And then what I did was the gun had a little section down here that almost looked like it was a laser sight or something with an extra handle. So I cut it off. I just cut straight and down, just squared it off. And then I took the grenade launcher from, I want to say it's like the Mafex Tactical Batman. I believe that's what it was. I'm not quite sure. I believe that's what it was. But then I just cut the grenade launcher to match it and just pasted it on there, sprayed everything matte black, hit it with some of that gunmetal detailing, and it also got in these nice glossy red highlights in there. I'm really a fan of this gun. I love all the little details in it, and overall I think it looks really, really nice. I really like the iron sights too that you can see there. It looks like you can actually look down at. It's so cool. So yeah, this was a really fun gun to build. This is pretty much the first time I've made custom guns for a figure. So I really enjoyed it, and I think they turned out really well. So the next one is this smaller, maybe like a pulse rifle gun type thing. Originally I had an idea to have a stock on it, but just the way Cable's arms bend, it's a little bit easier to keep his guns without stocks so that they don't interfere with his arm and scratch the paint. So I have this blaster here. This is a combination of the two blasters that the older Cable figure comes with from the Juggernaut. Yeah, it's the Juggernaut wave. So you can kind of see a seam there. It's been sculpted over so that it looks smooth. And I'm pretty happy with the way it looks. Like the gun looks like it's been sectioned off, and I think it still feels pretty cohesive. So yeah, I cut the gun right about here, and the seam's pretty hidden on this end too. I don't think you can really see it, but yeah. So sprayed it all black. Once you spray paint stuff, all of a sudden it all looks like it's supposed to be one piece. So I'm really, really happy about that. So we got that, and also hit it with that glossy red metal again. I wish I painted this. Maybe I will, but yeah, you got your little sight there. Overall, very, very happy with this. I think looks pretty cool. This feels like a gun that like the Punisher Thanos could use or something like that. Just a really big, gnarly gun. And now finally we come to his massive chain gun, railgun type cannon. sort of thing. Once again, the stock jutted out about this far off the gun originally, and that interfered a lot with his articulation, and it was actually giving me some issues with some paint scratching on the arm because of how far it jutted out, that he couldn't really hold the gun and pose nicely. So because of that, I ended up cutting off the stock, smoothing it down, and so now he holds it really well. He can bend his arm and he can point it and move it around. So this gun is, I believe it's from an Alien figure, like the main portion of it right here. I believe it's an Alien figure. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't like really buy NECA stuff too much, so it could be from something else. I'm not totally sure. I got it in a weapons lot, like just a bunch of spare parts off of eBay, so not totally sure. This handle, this not handle, grip. I'm short for words right now. Is from one of Cable's other guns from the Juggernaut wave. I cut out the old one because it was too small for Cable's hand, so I just cut out this whole cross section right here, and I replaced it with the new grip, and then so that looks good. I had to sculpt it and then super glue it, so it looks pretty seamless, I think. And then we come to this side and we have this big magazine, and this is from a machine gun from a Halo figure. So I just popped it off the machine gun and then sculpted it. I filled in some gaps on the inside of it so that it would super glue on a little bit nicer. Everything's painted, and hit it with those bright red highlights again. Hit it with some of that gunmetal detailing. So I'm very, very pleased with how it turns out. I'm a particular fan of that little red X there because it's like, oh, it's an X-Men gun. So yeah, pretty happy with how it turns out. I hit it with some glossy red in the scope on that end. And then I hit it with like a semi-gloss black on the inside of there. So it just has a little bit of shine. So yeah, pretty happy with how these guns turned out. I really like the custom guns. It adds a cool little flair to Cable. So now I'm going to bring the figure back and we are going to get into him. So this cape, I got it online off of eBay. I think it was GPS Slot. He sells a lot of cool stuff. Go look him up. I think he has an Instagram page, but I don't know how much he posts there. But yeah, that's where I got the cape from. It's a wired cape. It looks good for Cable for that time traveler duster type look. I got the X-Men symbol off of the old Marvel Legends Phantom X figure, and so I just took the two ends of the cape, pasted them together, and then glued the symbol on top of that. And so you got a perfect X-Men cloak right there. I did sculpt, just speaking about, since we're up on the head, I did sculpt a collar around Cable's neck, and that helps support the cape a little bit. But for the sake of this review, since I don't do too much editing on these, I'm not going to pop it off because that means I have to go edit in transitions and stuff. And I'm busy. I don't have time for that. So know that the head does come off and you can remove the cape, but for time being, I'm not going to do that. But as you can see the gunmetal collar right down there that I sculpted in, and that just helps with holding the cape up on the neck a little bit. It lets it bunch up and look like it's really tucked in somewhere. So that adds a nice little effect. So now looking at the figure, it's a mix of several figures. I have this arm is from the Juggernaut Cable, as well as this hand. The shoulder is from the newer Cable that came with one of the more recent X-Men waves. It was it's not Caliban. What build a figure? Apocalypse. There it is. Yes, the Cable that came with Apocalypse, I believe. So that's where this upper torso piece is from as well as that shoulder bit. This arm is from that same Cable all the way down. It's just been re-sculpted. The shoulder pads have been modified, but they are from that Apocalypse Cable. These pouches, the pouches down here, as well as his little, I guess, crotch guard or something like that, is from the new Hercules figure. Not newer, it's new. These pouches right here are from the Deadpool also from the, not Wendigo, Sasquatch wave. Oh, actually I think Cable was in the Sasquatch wave. Yeah, that's where it is, Sasquatch wave. These pouches over here, you can tell that these are new. I got these from one of the Kick A2 figures. The guy that Jim Carrey, I think it was Jim Carrey, the guy that Jim Carrey acted. So that's where these pouches are from. And then these legs are still from the same Cable figure, but then the bottom parts of the legs, the ones with the armor, are from the Juggernaut Cable. So you can see it's a mix of a lot of figures parts. These pouches are also from the Sasquatch Wave Cable. Shotgun shells are from Nuke. This pistol holster is from a Harley Quinn figure. This knife sheath is from Nuke. Grenades are, I think, from a Punisher figure. Bullet thing, a couple figures have it. I don't know which one I pulled it from. I just pulled it out of the box. But you get the idea. It took about 4 figures to build this guy, not including some sculpting, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, we'll break it down. We'll get into a little bit more detail. If you guys want to make this yourself, definitely buy some elastic. So we'll get into it. I started with the head. I can't raise my camera just the way my stand is, but look at that pupil. That's a beautiful pupil. I love that, like, looking from a distance, you can't really tell the details there, but it's there. He's got his full pupil in there. I'm really happy with the way the skin turned out. Mixed a couple of skin tones to finally get one that I liked. But the best way to paint figures in general, if you want to do skin and hair without it getting too sloppy, is I heated up the hair piece, removed it. I also removed his earpiece. And then I painted the skin. The eyepiece I couldn't get out, but none of the paint bled over onto it, as you can tell. So I protected it pretty well. I hand painted the face in order to just keep that precision down. I'm very happy with how it turned out. The scar, his little X scratches look good. The hair, what I did was I sprayed it all black to get that deep shadow. And then after that, I dry brushed white. Let me scoot that back. I dry brushed white over it, so you get that nice shadowing look. And so it really brings out all the detail in the hair. The earpiece was just sprayed in a silver. I picked it out with some glossy red right there. Overall, pretty good. Shoulder pads cut off the Cable figure, and they're on elastic so that they flex with the shoulders. They won't get in the way. There won't be any paint scratching, stuff like that. These pouches down here are their own separate piece, as you can see. They're their own separate piece, and they're flexible. They move around so that they move out of the way of the arms. No need to worry about paint rub. Same thing with his little crotch piece. It's on elastic so that it flicks into place. Gotta protect the family jewels, but flexible enough to move with the legs, no issue. The entire belt is done the same way. I cut the pouches off the Hercules figure, and this X piece was actually the old Hercules belt, and I sculpted the X over it and painted it. All of it's on elastic, as you can see, so that's got a nice amount of flex to it. You can pull at it, tug at it, so when the legs move, this stuff will move and it won't get in the way of anything. Yeah, so that's definitely a big thing. I use elastic in a lot of my projects so I can get those movable shoulder pads and all that good stuff, and that's really important. To this arm, it is the same arm that comes with the main base of the Cable figure I used. I painted the arms red first and then dry brushed over it with several different skin tones. So as you can see, like in the cracks, I get much more of like a shadowed, there we go, a shadowed deep red color. And then it was actually really nice. I hit the veins with a lighter skin tone, and so it makes the veins in his arms as well as some scarring really pop out. And so I'm glad I was able to highlight that detail on the arms. So yeah, pretty satisfied with that, how that turned out. I sculpted the little bandage that acts as, maybe it's not a bandage, just the end of the glove, I guess. And then I also sculpted this metal plate on his hand, as well as the little wrap there, so that it matches a little more with his other hand. I also sculpted the bandage piece, as you can tell, on both sides, so that he has some symmetry to the arms. So that's pretty cool looking. I think so, at least. The sheath for his blade is also on elastic, so it moves nicely, as you can see. moves nicely with the legs, doesn't get in the way of anything. Use elastic. Not enough people do. It's so worth it. I also took the side holster from Cable's belt and put it up there so that he can store his little shotgun piece in it. The nub from that Cable puts for his big gun, it's still there. I have no need for it. The cape covers it, so it's whatever. I also just put that little thing there like a little time travel device. You can imagine it to be what you will, but it's there. Moving down to the legs, this is the only part I painted a metallic yellow. Everything else is a flat yellow. I'm really happy with how that metallic yellow turned out. He has I was able to get in a lot of nice weathering. I got some black and gunmetal inside all his like little bullet and explosion holes, all the little shrapnel dings and stuff like that. And then I also dry brushed some brown over it just to get that dirtied look. And I think it turned out really nice. It still has that shine, but you can tell he's been through some battles. This arm is repainted in a bright silver. And as I always do, not always, to the most part, do with figures, I filled in the peg holes and I sculpted them so that they're seamless with the arm. I'm very happy about that. I love those seamless metallic arms, as you can see. Very happy with how that turned out. And yeah, all the other pegs on the figure, they're all filled out. He's got that wonderful seamless figure look that I love. The chest itself, I'm actually really proud of this. If we zoom in, it's 3 different shades of blue. I have a base blue, in the cracks it's darker, and then I also hit it with some highlights on the top. So very pleased with how that chest turned out. A lot of muscle definition in there as well. So yeah, overall, I think this figure wasn't, I don't think he was too hard to put together as far as, I guess you could say, as far as pieces go, it wasn't anything too complex sculpting wise. The only thing was maybe getting the X symmetrical. That took me a little while, but still not too difficult. I think the paint job and just bringing out the details of the figure took a lot more time. I really based this guy off of more, I think, of his like 90s incarnation, and I was also inspired by the sideshow statue that got announced recently. So I guess to conclude this video, almost dropped it there. To conclude this video, I'm just gonna load up Cable so that you can see where all his guns go. So his shotgun fits right in there. You got his Bowie knife, whatever, his giant dagger fits right into the sheath there. His revolver goes right into that side holster. Slides in real nicely, real clean. Sits right there. What guns do I want him to use? I'll give him his pulse rifle, shotgun looking thing in that hand. I'll do his big gun. I'm pretty sure if you guys care about the assault rifle, sorry, I guess. I'm gonna give him the bigger boy guns. Just gonna drop that in there. And so now, here we go. Oop. Sorry. There we go. Cable's fully tanked out. I really am happy with how this guy turned out. I think it really captures Cable's essence. Big guns, everything is just exaggerated, huge proportions, huge pouches, huge guns. Yeah, very pleased with how this guy turned out. So hopefully you like him too. And yeah, I'm just gonna keep doing reviews. So far it seems like I've got a good reception on it. As of recording this, I just crossed 100 subscribers on YouTube. So that's cool. So thank you to you first 100. And I hope that you guys continue to enjoy my reviews and continue watching. So in conclusion, I guess, follow me on Instagram at Tosh_customs, underscore like the symbol, not the word. And yeah, hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will catch you later.